Hey everyone, Jess and I are in Mario Land, and Jess is going to tell us all about the movie because I haven't seen it yet. If you want to check us out on YouTube, click the link below. I've been putting a link to our YouTube channel in every single episode. Oh, you're showing us something on your shirt. You'll have to tell us about that later. So, this is a coffee chat. A coffee chat is just a really informal, fun, kind of ranting, maybe sometimes some ranting um, episode about whatever is going on in the lives of two wacky teacherpreneurs, myself, Amanda, and Jessica. Um, I usually call you Jess. That's your nickname. Um, and like just what's going on in our lives when it comes to like personal things and business things. And sometimes I feel like a lot of times we end up sharing some good, business tidbits, life mindset kind of tidbits. I don't really know what's going to come up. We haven't planned what we're going to talk about at all. We just hit record, and that's just sometimes how it goes. Do you want to go first, Jess? Do you want to
Well,
share like
it's
what's
kind of
happening?
funny. Something that we do that you probably don't know is sometimes we record multiple episodes a day, and we always go change our shirts between episodes because we don't want you to think we're slobs and wear the same clothes every day, right? And it's funny as I went to my drawer and I was like, oh, what am I going to wear? This is actually a Mario shirt. This is from Mario 3. And so I went and got this Mario shirt on Come Back, and Amanda has Mario background.
Weird.
Like, are we in tune or what?
I think we are. I love Mario. It was definitely one of my favorite video games. And have you ever heard of Toe Jam and Earl?
Yes.
Did you
Yeah,
ever play that?
I did. I
I
did.
loved that game. Oh
Me
my,
and one of my besties used to play it. It was really bizarre and quirky, and yeah.
I still have it. So Eric got me a
Cool.
couple of years. He got me a Sega. It's like an antique or something, and
I
like
know.
a bunch of games to go with it. And I can actually play Toe Jam and Earl right now, like if I wanted to.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's really fun
That's awesome.
and addicting, but whatever. So what's up in your world?
So in my world, yesterday was my last day teaching. I am a K-5 librarian teacher. I'm a teacher librarian, so I teach classes all day. So like when teachers get a prep time, they get the prep time because they're dropping their kids off in my library. And they're going to take their prep time break. They call us specialists here in Nevada. It's a little bit different everywhere, but we have like PE teachers, art teachers, music teachers, and librarians are all considered specialists. And we're supposed to have computer teachers too, but we don't have my school. So anyway, yesterday was my last day with kids. And then so it's kind of exciting. I am going to teach summer school this year, and it's the first time I'm ever teaching it, but I have like a week between the end of school. Like next week I'm going to be working at school, nobody's going to be there. It's going to be really weird, like a ghost town. And then the next week I have summer school, so kind of a lot of exciting things in my teacher life. And as usual, it's just trying to balance things in, with business and personal and career, right? It's always like this triad: business, personal, career. Obviously, I always try to put my personal life first, but teaching is such a stressful position, profession. Sometimes I kind of lose sight and I need to find balance again in my personal and, business world. And that's why I love this podcast, because this podcast always centers me back into the business world, but it's also a tad personal since me and you are friends.
Yeah, I love making time for our friendship. I feel like we stopped talking for 2 years for some.
We've talked on and off. Like, I don't know if we completely ever stopped talking, because I went back and looked at our messages, and sometimes we would talk on Facebook. Like, do you even remember talking to me on Facebook? Like Facebook Instant Messenger. We have all these, like, there's some of those in between years, like 2018. We're chatting it up on Facebook. So we have, I don't know how long of a break we've taken, but we have talked in different places. It hasn't always been Voxer, which is our usual place of talking.
Yes, I love Voxer. It's definitely one of my favorite
So,
apps on my phone.
so what have you been doing? Any new discoveries or anything this week?
Well, first of all, congratulations on being done with school. That is really, really, really exciting. And you know what's weird is like for me, everyone about to be on summer break feels really stressful. Is that so sad? Well, because I had this whole year, I took a leave of absence. And I homeschooled my daughter for, I don't know, 8, 7 months of that. And then she just started a new school, a private school, that's incredible, and she absolutely loves it, and it's just perfect for her. And it's been so nice being able to drop her off and just like have time to do whatever I want. And that's going to be ending soon because her school ends, her last day is like the first week in June, like whatever that Thursday is. So she only has 3 more weeks left of school. And uh yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a little
That was literally told
I
Anthony,
felt
I am
so
podcasting. Don't bother me. And then Anthony just appeared in the background, could spot my husband, just like boop.
here. Yeah, if you want to see whimsical hubby, go to our YouTube channel. He just like popped up on Jess's screen. It was really funny. And I know my daughter has popped up every once in a while. Yeah, so summer is around the corner, and I feel like it's like, oh, all day, every day with my daughter. Yay.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard being a full-time mom. I don't know how everyone does it. Like, how did my parents survive with me all day long?
Well, I think the
I
parents,
never once went to like a babysitter. Like, there was one period in my life I had a babysitter for like 2 or 3 months. Other than that, I was with my parents all the time. And I look back now, like, how did they do it?
well, didn't you used to like go outside and play? Like, I feel like kids
Yeah.
play in their neighborhood, or they used to. And now everyone's too terrified, which actually I've heard that we have never had more safety and security than right now, like in the world, that crime
There's
is
so
like
many cameras.
decreasing.
There's
Well,
cameras everywhere. Like, go ahead and try to steal a kid. There's cameras watching you
yeah,
all over the place. The street lights, the inside stores, outside stores, every parking lot. Like,
cell
it's hard to
phones.
get away with things. Oh, and you know how people are catching a lot of kidnappers now, or people even being creepy? Ring cams. You know,
Yeah.
the ring cams on people's doors. Ring cams in neighborhoods are now tracking any kind of child abductions, and they find the kids so fast now with ring cams. They can all, the police can bounce all the ring cams off of each other and find out exactly where the kid is. I
Wow.
just read about that recently. So, but yeah, when I was a kid, I did, you're right, I probably between the ages of 9 and 12, I was outside riding my bike during the summer for 12 to 16 hours a
Me
day.
too. I would take
That's
the
all I
city bus.
did.
I took the city bus. I would take my
Okay.
brother and my sister to Cranberry Lake. We lived on Whidbey Island, Washington, and we would take the public transit. It was so fun because I was like the little grown up, and I'd like pack our little swim bags and like our lunches. I was like 14, 15 in high school. My parents, finally were like, okay, you guys can take the city bus to Cranberry Lake. And we would just spend all day there, or we would take the city bus to like Walmart and hang out in the Walmart. Like, what? Or no, Kmart. Um,
Kmart, me too. I was gonna say I spent a lot of time at Kmart parking lot. One time I got kicked out of the Kmart parking lot. So I was like 16 years old, and me and one of my best friends walked down there with a bunch of water guns. And we were squirting people like when they got out of their cars, and we got kicked out. I'm surprised they didn't call the cops on us, to be honest, but I don't know why we thought it was so funny. We would just do like a little squirt, squirt, and people would be like, where'd that? They'd like freak out. But we were mainly looking from kids from our high school. Like, we didn't do it to just random adults. We'd see someone from high school and we'd like squirt them with, you know. I mean, that's so bad sounding now.
Oh my
We used to
God. I
go
have an
to
even
our
worse.
parking lot and do that. It was so awful.
I have an even worse story about Kmart, and I'm kind of embarrassed.
Tell
But
me.
now I look back on it and I think it's hilarious. I don't know if I should share it, but I already started talking. So
Tell us. Just tell us. Spill the
I
beans.
got caught stealing
Oh
at Kmart.
no.
Yeah, when I was like 12, everyone did it, like in seventh grade, like we would go into Kmart and like steal CDs and steal makeup. And I was so impressionable and such a little rebel back then. And I was like, I think it was probably my sixth or seventh time stealing and I got caught. And like my parents were so upset with me. I never stole again. And I was kicked out I couldn't be anywhere near Kmart for a year. I was grounded for like a year. It was like the worst. I think that was probably the worst summer of my life because I was grounded and like my parents wouldn't let me do anything. So I just watched MTV and like Lifetime summer long and like talked on the phone to my friends.
I love that. I didn't get caught stealing anything. Not saying I did it, but I never got caught stealing anything. But one year we used to hang out at like this little coffee shop. Like we thought we were so grown up as teenagers, going to a little coffee shop, getting coffee or burgers or something. And one summer, me and my best friend got kicked out for swearing too much.
What?
We got on the wall. They had a wall of shame in the back office, and they would print your picture out and put you on the wall of shame. And people, my best friend said, I don't know. She said a C word that's very bad. And these old people complained about us, got us kicked out. And then we tried to go back like 6 months later and they caught us right at the door. They're like, nope, you two are on the wall of shame. Get out.
Wow. Oh my gosh, we got to put an explicit rating on this. Oops, sorry.
But I didn't
On this
say the
episode.
C word. I
I know,
just said,
but still, we all know what you're saying.
do we? What if some people at home are thinking carrot cake, huh?
Or
Or
something
what
else.
if some people are thinking crap? Some people might be thinking crap.
Well, you just negated that
What if
just
it
now.
was crap?
Maybe it was. You're so innocent with your your squirt guns.
Sound like a really bad kid. Sadly, these things happened years apart, so I guess I was just rotten like the whole time I was a kid.
And you were an only child, right?
Yeah, I am an only child, always have been an only child, so
I'm the
yeah.
oldest.
Yeah, that must have been really cool and different. And my husband, Anthony, who you saw in the background earlier, he has 10 brothers and sisters. So I think he grew up a little bit more like you, like where he was always in tow with brothers and sisters going somewhere, doing something. Like he was never off by himself, squirting people at Kmart.
Oh no, I was off by myself. I mean,
Oh, you were?
yeah, I was like a latchkey kid. Yeah, my parents worked a
Okay.
lot. Well, and
Well, I mean, with your siblings, were you with your siblings a lot or not so much?
yeah, I was with my siblings,
Yeah.
taking care of them, making them clean the house and stuff for my parents. But yeah, like I feel like most of my childhood, I was raised by a single parent because my parents were in the Navy. And so either one of them was gone for 6 months or the other one, and so my parents yeah, it was hard for
I
them
had
and
no
us.
idea they were both in the Navy.
They were, yep.
Wow.
And my mom, she was actually on the aircraft carrier, the USS Lincoln, I think, the first group of women to go overseas for 6 months and be on an aircraft carrier in the Navy. She was like in the first group of women to do that. It was in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she was gone for 6 months straight. It was actually when I was in sixth grade. Yeah, it was so hard on our family for her to be gone that long.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and hard on her. But anyways, what else is going on in my world? I'm trying to think, or your world.
Well, I am getting ready for all of my summer travel. So I'm going with a company called Book Bag Tours to Greece this summer. But before we go to Greece, we're going to go to Greece for like 11 or 12 days. Before that Book Bag Tours trip, we're going to go to London and maybe Brussels and Paris. before we go to, because we're going to go a week early, just so me and my husband can have like a little bit of, our own kind of trip, because last year we went together on a book bag tour where I am a trip leader and he came along with me to Egypt, and it was great. It was fun, even though we both got deathly ill. It was a great trip, but it was kind of weird being with a tour group the whole time. And this year is our 10-year wedding anniversary. Toot toot.
Oh, wow.
And
Congratulations.
it actually kind of coincides with the trip a little bit. It's kind of the same week that we're leaving. So I
Mhm.
just thought, oh, we should go a week early and kind of do this own trip just for us, like everything we want to do. And then we'll hop on my book bag tours trip in Greece. And because when you're with a tour group, you have to do everything they want to do. And since I'm a trip leader, I'm going to be busy dealing with the guests. There's going to be 20 other teachers, and I'm going to be busy helping them and like plan this trip. And it's not really like, it's not all fun times. I'm going to be working. So anyway, that's what I'm getting ready. So this is what I'm going to try to do. And I know you've traveled internationally quite a bit, right? Because of your, have you've been to a
Um,
bunch of places, right?
well, because I grew up, a Navy brat, yeah, I've moved around a lot of places when I was young. But actually, I've only been to Europe once as an adult with my husband. We went to Spain right before the pandemic. So, like, right before everything shut down. It was November 2019 that we went on a trip for 10 days to Spain, and we traveled all over Spain. It was so fun. Um, and yeah, we went to Barcelona, Girona, and Catechus. We like rented a car. Oh my gosh, it was just my husband and I. And we were thinking about going to Italy, but we're not going to because just it's too late. I mean, the airlines, I don't know if you've looked at like what's going on, but they're insane, like flights and stuff. So we're actually going to Washington State, where we're from. And we're going to visit my grandma, who is Arya's obviously great grandma. And I want her to spend time with her, because she's not going to be around for that much longer. And my cousins. And then Eric and I are going to leave Arya with my parents and go on a grown-up trip to Vancouver and Victoria, BC. So I'm like stoked about that. Have you ever been to Vancouver or
No, I've only had a layover in Canada. I didn't start leaving the country until 2018. That was my first international trip. It's the first time
really?
I ever left, 2018. So I'm kind of a new international traveler, and I've only been stranded in Montreal. That's the only thing I've never been up there, but I do want to go. I've heard it's quite beautiful.
Wait, you were stranded there?
Well, it was a very long flight layover, and it was many more hours than I should have been there.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
many hours?
Long enough that if I think about it, my bladder starts hurting because they don't have a lot of potties in Canada airports compared to American airports. Like in America, you're walking around every 20 feet, there's like a bathroom. You're like, oh, there's a bathroom, thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's not like that there. There was like one bathroom and like hundreds of people. It was so
Whoa.
awful. It's really weird. Like when you're international traveling and you have layovers, I mean, every airport's different, but not every airport is very convenient. And it was quite an ordeal, but I'm sure you'll have tons of fun. Don't let me scare you about that.
Well, we're driving, so we're gonna
Oh,
drive
cool. Yeah.
because my parents live really close to the border.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I actually went to college in Bellingham, Washington, Western Washington University. That's where my husband and I met. And it's just like an hour, like 2 hours to Vancouver, maybe three, actually.
I really want to move to Oregon or Washington someday. And I was just wondering, like, do you ever wish you could go back, or do you really like where you're at?
Well, we're in the Bay Area and we love it. We really, really do. Some of my friends are so worried about me living here because of earthquakes and fires and things. And I mean, that does worry me. But I feel like everything is really hard. Like even Washington, they have fires too. But the thing about Washington is it's a lot colder in the winter. It rains a lot longer. It rains, for like 6 or 7 months of the year. I mean, I know that's changing. It is changing. The weather's changing there because of global warming. But I think it's just kind of depressing sometimes. And like the
No,
Bay
that's
Area, there's just easy access to so many different places. And we just really love it's very progressive here, very liberal. Um, and yeah, we live like on the East Bay. So all the rich people live on the peninsula and they're kind of hoity-toity, like very, very rich people. And it's a different culture over there than over here, kind of like on the Oakland side. We live pretty close to Oakland and Berkeley. Uh, and yeah, it's just a really great vibe here. Like, and very diverse, which I love. I love that my daughter, is able to just like have friends of many different races and things. And yeah, there's just so much available here. So I don't think we'll ever move back to Washington. We might move to Colorado though for skiing. Who knows?
interesting. I didn't know that you love skiing so much, although you have mentioned it before that you do go skiing from time to time, but I didn't think you loved it enough to move.
Well, we lived in Salt Lake City, Utah when my husband was going to U of U, um, getting his PhD, and we lived there for 5 years, and every weekend we went skiing. Like that was before we had our daughter, and so we got really, really good at it, and just like developed a. And skiing's like riding a bike. Like once you got it, and you don't really lose it. I mean, you got to get your ski legs back after going for a long time. But yeah, we're definitely very avid skiers, but it's not very good for the environment, of course. So I don't know.
Interesting.
What about you? You ever live
Whole
any?
new world you've opened up for me. What now?
Did
What?
you ever live anywhere? Where's you want to live in Washington or Oregon, but not Nevada?
Yeah, that's kind of the ultimate goal. I mean, I've lived in Nevada for most of my life, like northern Nevada. I grew up in Carson City, Reno, Lake Tahoe area. That's the area I lived in, until I went to college. I went to college in Minnesota. Love Minnesota, but it is really harsh winters. So I lived there for 5 years and then kind of meandered back here, but I had little stints in other places. Like I lived in Portland, Oregon for a little bit. I lived down in Houston, Texas for a little bit. Very short periods of time, almost more like extended vacations, right? I've mainly been all over Nevada. I've lived in every city in Nevada. I've lived in the rural cities, the big cities now, like every single city in Nevada I've lived in. There's only like 7 cities because it's a really big state with not a lot. Like 90% of it is government land, right? But anyway, yeah, I would ultimately my goal would be to move to the Oregon coast or somewhere in Washington. We both really love it up there. And you know how you were talking about the gloomy weather and the rain? Like, you know how some people like love being in the sun and they get so excited? I have like a averse reaction to the sun. Like I'm allergic to it. It makes me sick. And so when it's cloudy outside, I'm never happier. Like those are my happiest days is when it's cloudy. I'm like, I can finally be me. It's cloudy and rainy today. So I kind of love that kind of weather. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those pipe dreams. Like, wouldn't it be nice to move to, this area someday and we make little plans about it and stuff?
Pipe dreams?
Pipe dreams.
You were supposed to tell us about Mario, by the way. Maybe we should wrap up with that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if we
Let's
talked
wrap up
about
with.
business though.
I know. Well, maybe we can end with a couple takeaways from like the new book we're reading. I know we're going to do an episode on it, but maybe we could just each give one takeaway from that book to kind of end the episode and give people a reason to listen at the end. But yeah, I was just telling Amanda the new Mario movie is amazing. If you played Mario as a kid and if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you probably played Mario at some point, and the new movie is really good. But so let's talk. Do you want to give, like, I was just thinking one takeaway from this book. We're both reading this book called what's it called? The
Chill and prosper.
Chill and Prosper. I always call it the Chillpreneur. And I think there's another book called The Chillpreneur. that there's this whole idea that like you don't have to hustle to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to play the hustle game. You don't have to just work yourself to death, to make a profit. That there's a different mindset that you could do other things and still make a profit and not work yourself. So what is one takeaway? Like I begged Amanda to listen to this because I listened to it like 6 months ago, and I did tell you about it because she mentioned being neurodivergent in the first chapter, I think. And I think I told you about it many months ago. And I was like, yeah, this lady's talking about this. And then I've set the book down. I picked it back up recently, and I was like, wow, I felt like she was talking to me. Like everything she's saying, I'm like, wow, I love this lady. So I thought we could just say like maybe one takeaway, since this is kind of influencing our business life right now, this book. We've both made some decisions because this book is inspiring us so much. So did you want to just share one tidbit and then I will?
Oh, do I have to only share one? Yeah, I really do want to do a whole episode on this book. It's by Denise Duffield-Thomas. She's Australian and she reads the book, and it's so fun to listen to her read. And she's just really down to earth and honest and very, very successful because of just her mindset stuff. And there's so many things that I want to talk about. But
Well,
we'll
we're
save
gonna
it
do
for the
we're gonna do a whole episode on it. So just like, is there any one little thing that kind of stuck with you this week?
Okay, so yes, there is one thing that I want to talk about in terms of marketing, but I'm going to save it for the episode about the book because the marketing chapter is in my opinion, like the best chapter. It's so good. But I'm going to talk about something else that I think a lot of teacherpreneurs need to hear right now. This is important, and I'm actually getting goosebumps. So she talks about how you need to think of yourself as the golden goose of your family and your business. Do you remember that? That like do you remember it? I don't know. You haven't finished it
No,
yet, I
no.
don't think. I haven't finished it either. So what she means is you got to protect yourself, and you got to like not do everything because you're the golden goose. You're like the treasure of your family. You know what I mean? And of your business. And if you don't think of yourself as the golden goose, you're going to crack. I don't think she actually says that, but like, I really love that. Like, and it's true. I am the golden goose, like I am just a very, very important, I don't know, the words are escaping me, but like my presence and well-being, and sanity and stress levels, all of that need to be protected. And I have to keep myself protected from stress and like take care of myself when I'm stressed and let go of certain things and responsibilities. So that was, I think, one of the best takeaways from the book that I've had so far. What
That
about
was
you?
great. We probably should have ended on that because that was such a good one. Well, this week I only listen to the book probably 20 minutes a day during a short commute that I have. This week there was something about like she had been very successful in her business, making about $1 million a year. And I guess her husband, he had quit his job and was helping her. And he's like, if you can make $1 million, if we just double what you're doing, we'll make $2 million. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Like just double what you're doing and you'll make double the money. And so they did that. And it just was a disaster. Like it was too much work. They added too many extra responsibilities on their plate. They did make more money, but it wasn't worth it in the long run. It was a toll on their mental state and their stress level. And that was something that kind of stuck with me a little bit is, you know, I think it's okay to want more, but like, when is enough enough? And I think that was sort of her messaging in the book. Like she found a system that worked and she was making money she was happy with. So why does she keep like feeling the need to create more? And then she went on to describe like how she had written this book and she made a bunch of merchandise and t-shirts about the book and wasted so much money and time on these other things. And that wasn't really what was like setting her soul on fire. That wasn't the core of her business. And it was just kind of, I think it was kind of eye-opening of just like chasing too many things at one time and really finding a simple, easy system that works for you. And then just really knowing what you want. And when you have enough, enjoying that. Like when you have like enough in your life, like you don't always have to be keeping up with the Joneses and trying to get more and more and more and stressing yourself out. Like figure out what is your point? Like what, there has to be a point where you'll feel comfortable, you'll feel happy, and your work is at a minimum level. And that was something I was like, wow, I started thinking, what is my point? What is that number per month that I would see in my bank account and think, wow, okay, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling comfortable, and I could actually like slow down with other things and just keep some systems in place. So anyway, that got me thinking, and I really, really liked it. I just love this book. I gobble it up.
Well, I feel like that part that you were talking about where her husband was like pushing them to double their income was the Golden Goose chapter.
I think it was.
Yeah, because she was just like, I was his show pony, but yet I was doing everything. Like I couldn't really show up because I was so drained and burned out. Yeah. I think I think our next episode should probably be about this book, but we both have to finish it first and then
Yeah.
make an outline about like what we really got out of it.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe I'll finish it this week since I'm out of school now and I have a week of no teaching. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Woo!
I only have, oh yes, I'm excited for you. I only have 30 minutes left, so I'm almost done. We're both listening
Of
to
the
it.
book? Okay. I think I'm like, I don't know. I think I have 2 hours left. So it's not like unattainable.
Yeah, I'm pretty much almost done. Anyways, thanks for listening to our random ranting coffee chat. Bye everyone.
Bye.